Take two, y'all. And just like that, we're right back. Hopefully, my mic sounds nice. Quick sound check, y'all, as y'all come up in here. Welcome to another episode of Common Sense Buffs. Today is a very special day, man. A lot of practices have gone into this moment. Today, we're going to be reacting as a community. I want to hear from you, your key takeaways from Colorado's spring game, the black and gold game. Hopefully, you guys can hear me loud and clear. I know I had some technical issues initially with the stream. I think I worked them out. I think we are good to go. So, Buffs Nation, it's been a long time. I shouldn't have left you without some dope content to react to. Go ahead and let me know where you're tuning in from in the comment section. You guys have been absolutely showing out in your support of this channel. We are now at 840 subscribers and growing. You guys have been liking the content, sharing the content, and being very, very engaged in the comments. Every Saturday, we host the community show. This is your show to let your voice be heard. I'm just here to respond and react to what's on your mind. Pretty big day today. Love that the game was open and accessible via the Buffs TV channel on YouTube. Hopefully all of you had a chance to watch it. I did, and I enjoyed it. Now, they had some technical issues. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't like network TV. I'm sure they are working it out. W. Rashid, always in the comments. Appreciate you. Welcome. Did you see the game? What were some of your takeaways? Let me know in the comments, man. So good to be back with you. If you're new here, hit that subscribe, hit that like button so this content can get out to a lot of people. All right, guys. So today, breaking down the game and some key takeaways right off the top here. I think we have our QB1. I know there was some debate early in the spring practice, but I think our QB1 is coming right along, right on schedule. Of course, there's always things to continue to improve on, which we'll talk about. I think we have our wide receiver 1. We're going to talk about that as well. I think he's solidifying himself as the go-to guy. And yeah, our run game is real. Our run game is real. So hit that like, hit that subscribe. Let's run up the score. We're on our way to 1,000 subscribers. So Cloud Living, man, I appreciate you. You've been tapped in not only on the football content that we've been doing, but also on the 1 mile challenge, which I'm sure a lot of you have come across, our late night 1 mile walks. So Cloud Living says we're going to be a running team. Oh yeah, run is going to be a big part of this team's identity. Yaya is a beast. Yeah, there's a real battle going on the interior offensive line. Yaya is definitely making the case to be a starter. And W. Rashid says, really anticipating more in JoJo joining the team. JuJu has to get the ball out faster. Mixed feelings overall. Wells 6633. I think this is your first time in the chat. Welcome. I appreciate you coming in and engaging immediately. Appreciate that. Got some comments, got some worries about the trenches. We'll talk about the trenches as well, where I feel good and what I think is happening that is alleviating some of my worries as I watch the spring game. Of course, this was just a practice, but there were some things that I saw that kind of confirmed some things in my mind and some other things I think we all would like to see more of. No battle. He did it today. I'm assuming you're talking about JuJu Lewis there, Cloud Living. That screen pass was the seal. Trenches got size. Yeah, they look good on film, guys. And I'm talking about the defensive side of the ball. But we'll talk about that. All right. So I appreciate you guys early in the chat engaging some of the things that you're seeing. If you are watching me on TV, I appreciate you. I know you can't engage there, but about 50% of the people who watch this channel watch me on TV. So big shout out to Bubba Love, who dropped a super chat in the last live stream. Super chats are available, so if you want to support the channel in that way, I would appreciate it. All right, let's start with the headline here that I have. JuJu Lewis is QB1, right? I think early in the spring, He was getting used to the offense. I think he fell behind in terms of what we could see on Well Off and Reach the People publicly available. It seemed like Isaac Wilson was playing better, which is, again, why Isaac was brought in. He had more experience. He started his freshman season. He played an entire season, even though he didn't play much in 2025. So it was to be expected that somebody with that level of experience would come in and start to make some early impact. And of course, none of this stuff is written in ink. I'm on the outside looking in, but from the outside looking in, on the field, it looks like he has a command of the offense. He looks pretty comfortable back there. One of the issues early in the spring was I felt like he was getting happy feet, and he was very indecisive. I feel like it looked a little bit better in terms of he knew where to go with the ball, and I'll talk about some things as well that I think could be improved. So again, number one, command of the offense. I feel like he was, getting the guys in the huddle. I think the guy he's able to get his offense's attention. I think they're getting the plays into him. This is a high tempo offense. I didn't see him, looking confused, asking for the plays multiple times. I felt like, and again, this is a scale back playbook, right? This is not the whole thing that we saw, but he was able to get the plays in, get the plays communicated, and get the plays out and called in a tempo manner. So I thought he was poised, he looked confident, and he was in control. When he was in the game, it appeared that the offense was moving the ball, which I love to see. So you don't just want a quarterback that looks. You want him to look calm, you want him to be confident, and you want to see the ball move down the field. I think on the first drive, he led them to a touchdown with a great touch pass to Danny Scudero. So you want to see your team come out and be able to start fast like they started when he came in the game. I think one of the things that he does well is protect the football. So I don't believe he had any turnovers today. But because this is an explosive offense, what I'd love to see is him continue to work on his deep ball accuracy. I think he had some opportunities, at least one for sure, where Danny Scudero had a step on his man. And I think if he had put the ball on him, it would have been another touchdown on the day for Danny Scudero. So this is a deep ball offense. And as a quarterback, you need to be able to put it into the bucket every single time because they're using the run to set up the pass. And they're setting up explosive plays. Many of the big plays that you're going to see in this offense are going to be 20 yards or more. And when your man has a step, you want to capitalize on that every single time. Every single time. All right. Let's see. JuJu is good at protecting the ball, however, and that is the key. Yeah, I think even when he missed his wide receiver, he tried to put the ball away from the defender, right? So I know he had a couple of long passes to Danny Scudero. Again, even though he missed them, he didn't miss them to the inside. He missed them to the outside, out of bounds. Okay, so I loved what I saw from JuJu Lewis. And what I also love is that he's building chemistry with Danny. You could tell that that's where his trust level is. If he needs to find the big play, and I love this about Brennan Marion, he's not shy to get the ball to his playmakers, right? A couple of times in 2025, you'll be like, oh, this is JoJo Williams' first catch, and it's like the third quarter. I don't think you're going to see that, right? I think you're going to get the ball in Danny Scudero and Cam Perry's hands early in the first quarter. You're going to run the ball with Damien Henderson and Micah Welch and Richard Young early in the game. You're going to go to the tight ends and look for opportunities there early in the game. You're not going to have these guys go missing and not be part of this offense for 3-4 quarters. And then, finally, you're getting the ball to your playmaker. So I love that about the way Brennan Marion calls his offense. Cloud Living says Julian looks like a college QB now. He's still young. You can tell he's still raw, but he has a lot of time. So basically what we're seeing is his improvement from the start of spring to the spring game. They're going to be off, taking a break from football, of course. They do all of the non-football stuff and personal development and guys just working out with each other. But that was good to see start of spring to where he is now. I think he's in a better spot. So I appreciate all of you guys for being here. If you haven't already, hit that like. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and join us in the comments. Let's talk about your takeaways from the Colorado Black and Gold game. Okay. The other thing, I think we got our wide receiver one. I did a reaction video to Danny Scudero, the number one wide receiver in the country in 2025 in terms of reception yards. And I said that he was going to continue that trend here. Now, this was before JoJo and DeAndre Moore got hurt. And I think there's some real competition there in the wide receiver room, which is extremely loaded. You can make the case that JoJo Williams, when he returns, if he's at full strength and he can get back and he has enough time for summer workouts and you know, he could really get back to playing speed or maybe even come back better than he was, great. It's going to bode well for the team. And because of that, you can make the case that he is wide receiver one because coming into the season, that was definitely an intention. And I know that's one of the reasons why he stayed. Let's see. Okay, bro, big bro, we love football in Cleveland, Ohio. All right, man. Cleveland, Ohio is right up the street from me. I get out to Cleveland for business reasons from time to time. And I know Cleveland loves football. I know the dog pound is out there. I know you guys are excited to have Shedeur Sanders as your quarterback. For all intents and purposes, he looks like this season he's going to get a real shot to be that QB1, which he's earning each and every day in the weight room. And I'm sure working out in the building and building the relationship with Todd Monken. Right? And you have a DeAndre Moore, right? The Texas wide receiver recruited by Brennan Marion, comes over to Colorado in the conversation as well for wide receiver one. He's certainly already got the NFL scouts looking at him. Right? He's that gets taken in the 2027 draft. So you can make a case for him that he should be wide receiver one, but he's hurt. I don't think his injury is as major, the surgery is as major as JoJo, which seemed like he's having a little bit more recovery time. We could see DeAndre Moore return sooner. You could make the case that he is wide receiver one based on what he was able to do at Texas, his pedigree, and now he's following Brennan Marion over to Colorado. But I can say without a doubt, from what I've seen in practice and again, what I've seen in the spring game and how much of a comfort level that JuJu Lewis has with him and how much of the offense is being called to get him open and in position to make plays, Danny Scudero right now is my wide receiver one. Trey 601. Let's see. What you got to say here? Let's talk about it. Common Sense Buffs, this is a Big 12 team that can compete for a title. Oh, you're asking, or do they need time and better players? I think my floor for this team is 7-5, right? Which would double their win total and then some from 2025. But that's the floor. That's the floor because they have a really, really tough schedule ahead of them. I think, but that's not going to be enough in terms of what the team is looking for from a turnaround. I don't think they would consider that success. I personally would not consider that the kind of success that this team needs to take the next step. Because what I saw from 2025 is if you want to retain players, you do have to be in the hunt for a conference championship late in the year. Whether you play in the championship game or not, you have to be in the hunt for the Big 12 title. Because a lot of players, after a season where the team is mediocre or even bad, a lot of players are going to be more easily poached. And so if you want to keep like your highly touted freshman, like a Mojo Williams, who made a great play today, and I'll talk about that. You want to keep your Braylon Edwards, right? The outstanding safety, the hitman, right? Who's out there making big plays every single practice. If you want to keep your tackle Xavier Payne, you want to keep guys like Chauncey Gooden, the young players, right, in the room that people are watching and they're going to be in their ear if they're not already. You need to make the case as a team that, hey, if you come here to Colorado, we're gonna build a winning culture. You want to keep a Preston Ashley, right? And guys like that. Okay. So 7-5 is the floor. 8-4 is an improvement. 8-4, especially if you get off to a good start in the season. Maybe you go through a couple of tough games. You drop 8-4. That's understandable with the schedule that they have. I think that is kind of the line that I'd like to see them cross this season. And then I would feel pretty good about the offseason. Not only about retention, keeping a guy like JuJu, keeping Keneal Sweetwine in the fold, keeping an Isaac Wilson in the fold, and then building from there. Keeping a Corbin Leisure, I think Fisher Clement in that situation, a Yaya Atia, Chauncey Gooden. You have a lot of guys coming back. And a season like that puts a guy like Demetrius Hunter in the NFL, puts a Danny Scudero in the NFL, puts DeAndre Moore in the NFL. Joseph Williams has a great junior campaign, which it would be for him. He's coming back now with scouts looking at him, right? So I think that's why I like that 8-4 number. Now, an outstanding overperforming season is a 9-3 season. Getting back 9-4 with the bowl game, but 9-3 regular season, getting them back to 0-4. I think that's where 2024. That's where it gets really exciting. I think that's where you really start to have the national media attention like you did, even though you don't have those big superstar names that all the cameras want to put on TV, right? You don't have the Shedeur Sanders anymore. You don't have the Travis Hunter anymore. But you go 9-3, the cameras are going to be back in Boulder like they were back in 2024, and that's really what's going to open up the NIL opportunities for these guys and help with player retention. Because the one thing that Coach Prime can do is he can set you up for success with NIL, but you have to have the play on the field, right? So 8-4, major turnaround, great for retention, great for the transfer portal. 9-3, national attention. You're definitely in contention to play for a Big 12 championship. I think that's where all of these coaches have their eyes set, right? A 9-3 season, late, you playing games that matter late in the season. That is going to be very, very exciting, right? So that's where I am. That's where I am. So I think they need time to continue to build the program. They are going to continue to get better players, but this season is going to be kind of that anchor season to give them both. Give them more time to keep building, retain the great players that they have, and then bring in some more guys to just continue to enhance what they already have. But more importantly, put some guys into the NFL, which is going to help with recruiting as well. Dizza Digital asks me, yo, Dizza, man, you came in there on the 1 mile thing, man. You know, much love, man. I appreciate you being here. You came from my neck on the 1 mile thing, man, but I appreciate you being here. You said 7-5 is not success. You don't know football, sir. Everything is about context. Everything is about context. I said 7-5 is the floor. It is the floor, right? I'm thinking multi-dimensionally here, which is why I mentioned some of the other things: retention, recruiting, media attention, playing games that matter, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not saying flat out it's not success. I'm saying in context, you need to do better than that. And I don't think if you ask Coach Prime, if he said, would you want to go 7-5, I don't think he would say, oh yeah, that's success for us in 2026. I think he wants to be playing meaningful football, not just because that's what coaches say, but that's because that's what the intention is. That's what the intention is. Robert Mustafa says, well, let's get you up there. Trey 601, great question. Great question. Let's get this down here. All right. They're not there yet, but looking better. Yeah, I agree. They're looking better. Robert Mustafa, if you were a gambling man, 8-4 season with $1,000, you would be a wealthy man. I would strongly consider if you're serious about your prediction. One, I don't gamble. I would probably put that money in my retirement account because you certainly cannot predict the future, right? So why would you gamble? I mean, unless you just do it and you have fun with it, but we know nobody can tell the future. A big part of this is, can they stay healthy? Can they stay healthy? We're in the spring, right? We still got summer. We still got fall workouts. We're a long way from the season. What I can say is that they just need to go 1-0 against Georgia Tech. They just need to go 1-0 versus Georgia Tech and take it 1 week at a time after that. But the most important game on the calendar for 2026 is Georgia Tech. think if they can come out and execute against Georgia Tech, that's going to say a lot about the kind of season that they're going to have. They got to win. And that's a major road win down in the ACC, which is going to be absolutely nuts. If you think Colorado football has been big, let them go to Atlanta, the city that Deion Sanders built, and pull off a convincing win against Georgia Tech. You will see 24/7 coverage of Colorado football on ESPN, on Fox Sports. Game day is going to be there every single game. And so for me, I'm just defining it with 7-5 being the floor, 8-4 being great for the team, 9-3 they're playing meaningful football and they're making a late run, right? With the Big 12, 9-3 and a championship might get you into the playoffs, which is where I think they want to be. If they can win consistently this year and get players drafted, then they're going to attract better talent. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Dizza Digital. All right, let me go ahead and pull you up here. Of course, you want better than 7-5. Of course, you want better, but 7-5 is nothing to sneeze at when CU was the worst program before Prime resurrected it. All right. Dizza Digital, something for consideration, right? Do you know what's that song by Finesse 2 Times? He says, it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Yeah, 7-5 is a good record for anybody else except Coach Prime. Right. And that's really what I want you to kind of sense or detect in what I'm saying about context. 7-5 is great, but you got to like pretty that up. You got to create a narrative. You got to have some marketing. People are going to challenge you, especially if the programs ahead of you continue to be those programs who are turnaround stories as well, like a Houston. Right. So let me go ahead and pull this up. Let's see if we can look at Houston. So if you got so the talk of the town right now is the turnaround that Kirk Cignetti had at Indiana. Now you might jump down you can't compare CU to Indiana. Trust me, that's what they're doing. That's what the media is going to do. Hey, if Kirk Cignetti can do it, you can do it, right? So let's look at the Houston Cougars football team. So if you go 7-5 and then you got other teams that are similar turnarounds like a Baylor or Houston with better records than you in the Big 12, now you have a different conversation. Because if Hugh Freeze could do it, why can't you do it? So there's more to this than just the actual record, guys. Okay, so Houston's record in conference, let's get it together. Un momento. Add camera? No, I can't add camera. How do we do that? Oh, share screen. Bear with me, guys. This is why you come here, right? Real football talk. Let's go ahead and add the scene. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me take your comment down. Okay. So, all right. If Texas Tech finishes with a better record than you, okay. Right? If BYU finishes with a better record than you, okay. Utah, understandable. Houston, 6-3 in conference. Arizona, 6-3 in conference. Arizona State, 6-3 in conference. Right? Iowa State, 5-4 in conference, so still a winning record in conference. But overall, 8-4. So a 7-5 season in terms of all the folks who are our usual suspects, our usual contenders in the Big 12, we've already listed here. So you're going to have to come up against Iowa State, Arizona State, et cetera, et cetera. Even TCU, I mean, conference record's not so good, but overall record's 9-4. So basically, you'd finish behind at 7-5, Texas Tech, BYU, Utah, Houston, Arizona State, and TCU. If everything stays the same from 2025. What I'm saying is there are programs out there like your Arizonas who are going through a bounce back from 2024, a Houston that went through a bounce back from 2024, a brand new rebuilt Iowa State team since their coach went over, I think, to Penn State, took a lot of players with him, right? What I'm saying is when you put all of this in context is why that 8-4 record and being in the hunt, right? Putting some of these other teams behind you in terms of your overall really matters. Okay. So I'm not saying 7-5 is not a good season. I'm just saying you got to think about context. Context. All right. Okay. Let's keep this thing going. Let's see who else is up in here. Hey, man, Trey 601, man, you getting busy in the comments. Man. Appreciate you. Appreciate the engagement. Appreciate you. Oh, Coach Dre is here. That man a legend. Coach Dre. Appreciate you, man. Loving the show that you and Rob the Man Media are doing. Appreciate you always checking in and supporting the show. I appreciate your perspective. I know we're going to learn something from you in the comments today. Thank you for being here. Robert Mustafa is agreeing with me. I'm a little bit behind in the chat. Let me catch up and then I'll back up a little bit. Coach Dre says, I'm happy with what I saw from the D-line today. 88 played well. I like their get off. I like how they get off the ball when the ball is snapped. That was one of the things I appreciated about the D-line today. So we'll get into that. All right. So let me go ahead and anything you guys want to talk about, we'll back it up with facts. I'll share my screen again, but I appreciate all of you guys who are in here. If you haven't hit the like button, please go ahead and do that. I would really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed, please go ahead and subscribe. So big shout out to Coach Dre. If you're not checking him out right now, he does a live show with him and Rob the Man Media. So go ahead and check out Coach Dre. Okay? Check out Coach Dre. Show him some love. Oh, yeah. Coach Dre, I would love to come on the show, man. You know, it's a community thing. All right. So Danny Scudero, wide receiver 1. And then I got in the comments and that threw me off. So wide receiver 1, Danny Scudero was on display again today. Elite route running, which I love about his game. He has great hands. You see, if you put it anywhere within his radius, and he has a smaller catch radius, but if you get it within that radius, he's going to come down with it. And he's a real deep threat, guys. This is not a slot dink and dunk kind of guy. They're not even throwing wide receiver screens to him, right? They're reserving the wide receiver screens for your Q for 6. They're going deep with Danny Scudero, which is what I love. And I was watching the press conference with Coach Prime after the game. And there's a lot of things like this that Coach Prime does for players that he does not get credit for. But he said that he hooked up Danny Scudero with Julian Edelman. From one body type NFL great, Julian Edelman, to another, putting those two guys together so he can start getting some mentorship. He's really setting Danny Scudero up for a great season and a future in the NFL, which I love to see. Again, Coach Prime is all about helping these players succeed on and off the field. I thought that was great. So he had a touchdown, but let's be honest, man, he could have had 2. He had a step on, I don't know who it was, maybe Mojo or somebody else, and JuJu just overthrew him. So if Danny Scudero's coming out, putting up big yards, and he's a 2-touchdown type of guy every game for you, you really love it, right? Because Brandon Marion loves that one receiver on his team that is going to be his big play wide receiver, right? He's had that at every stop he's been at, and I'm sure he's going to be looking for that in Colorado. He has a lot of weapons, very different from what he had in the past, but he's going to look for that one guy to put up big numbers every single game. But I like the connection that Danny Scudero is forming with JuJu. I think that's going to be one of the best duos in the Big 12 in 2026. Okay. I think we found one, guys. I think we got one. I think that's definitely going to be a transfer portal success story. All right, Coach Dre, let's see what you got here. Says Danny Scudero is wide receiver 1 right now. Danny S is penned in, and everyone else is penciled in. Everybody else is penciled in. Yeah. I mean, he keeps making plays, man, like that. You can't take that guy out of the game. You need him, especially for his deep threat ability. All right, the next thing. So we talked JuJu, we talked Danny Scudero. I want to talk about this run game. We've been asking for it. We've been begging for it. Colorado now has a run game. And I'm not talking about a decent run game, right? That is being used just to appease the fans. This is a real part of the go-go offense's identity, and they're going to lean into it. And I think the offensive line loves it. They want to run the ball, and they're able to create big holes for these running backs. Right? When these breakaway happen, you can see that they have 2 or 3 yard holes, right, that they're running through, and it's part scheme. But it's also because the O-line is a serious O-line. And they were talking on the commentary, you guys might have heard it, about how Brennan Marion loves the big O-linemen, right? The 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" guys, 330, 320-pound guys. So they're moving people around on the O-line. So as you saw on the thumbnail, I wanted to give a shout out to Damien Henderson. He's breaking some big runs. He is breaking some big runs. And he's doing that in practice. And with the gold team, he came out as their starting running back. I love to see that for him, man. A guy who's coming from a smaller school, stepping up to D1 and is proving that he belongs. Love to see that from Damien Henderson. And that is what the go-go is built to do. It's not built to be onesies, twosies. Yeah, we'll take it, but really it's looking for explosive runs as well. Also saw Micah Welch continuing to run strong. I love that they ran the screen pass with him. Again, guys, penalties killed us in 2025. It started to get a little bit sloppy there towards the end with Sweetwine at quarterback. I think the offense got like 2 or 3 penalties in a row. We cannot afford to be a sloppy football team. But it's good to see Micah Welch out there running strong. Richard Young was also contributing as well. It got more burn later on in the game, but he was running hard, which is what I think the coaches are asking him to do. I think him and Natine Mitchell had a couple of meetings, as Natine was pretty good in run support, but Richard Young was running hard. But I love to see our safeties in run support, and we'll talk about that as well. Let's see. What else you guys got in the chat? Ooh, this is, wow, Coach Dre. Sweetwine may be QB2 by the end of the fall. Wow, that's interesting. Let's tackle that in the chat, guys. How many people agree with Coach Dre on that one? Whoa. I didn't see that one coming, Coach Dre. You're going to have me on the show to talk about that, man. That should be fun. That should be fun. I'm not ready to comment on that, but I mean, he checks all the boxes in terms of a college quarterback, right? 6'3", 195 pounds. And in a Brennan Marion go-go offense, I could see him running the ball quite a bit more than a JuJu Lewis. Does he have command of the huddle? Does he have command of those older guys? I don't know. But he can play. It's not going to be because he can't play, but I don't think Isaac Wilson's going to step aside and let that happen. I think the battle is really on. But Coach Dre, great take. Great take. Let's talk about that in the chat. I would love to hear everybody's feedback. Trey 601 says if Isaac Wilson starts the whole season, I think he'll be the leading rusher, him and Welch. Isaac Wilson and Welch. I think you're going to have way more running backs as the leading rushers than necessarily the quarterback. I think Isaac Wilson has a tendency to pull the ball and run. But, man, as a quarterback, why would you do that when you got that kind of backfield and take those unnecessary hits? I don't know. I mean, but, hey, it is what it is. I would rather have Sweetwine be my running quarterback than Isaac Wilson. He loves to pull the ball. He loves to run, but can he take that punishment? He's not that big of a guy. All right. Oh my goodness, man. Hold on. Feels so real, man. Let me tell you guys a quick story. We'll get back into football content. TLP Sports Club, Harry B. I used to be on there all the time before I really got started on my channel. Used to chop it up with Phil So Real all the time. Phil, thank you for being here, man, on the live show. I appreciate you being here. Thank you. Put a smile on my face. At the end of the day, it's all about lines of scrimmage. They have to play at a high level. I agree with you. Feel So Real, let me know what you think about this O-line. Now, Feel So Real is going to give you the real, like his handle says. And so he was pretty spot on in 2025 with some of his concerns that he saw early about this team. And unfortunately, I hate to give him his flowers. No, I love to give him his flowers. He was right about a lot of the concerns that he had. And we had some great conversations. I really like how Sweetwine looked. JuJu has the arm, Wilson has the legs, but I think Sweetwine has both and can move the offense. Yeah, and what he's going to have is the advantage of playing behind JuJu this year, probably for 2 years. I don't think JuJu goes to the NFL after this season. If Brennan Marion can keep him, he's going to redshirt this season. Okay, because unlike Coach Dre, I don't think he's going to be the backup quarterback. And even if he is, hopefully he doesn't have to play in more than the allowable games so he can keep his red shirt. So he redshirts in 2026. He competes for a starting spot in 2027 with him and JuJu really having a battle, or again, a three-way battle. But I think he's the penciled in right now starter in 2028 as a red shirt junior. But can Colorado keep him that long? I don't know. All right, Levert Akins, what's up, bro? St. Louis in the house. You can find me in St. Louis. Where they gonna play, rain all day. Levert Akins, I appreciate you holding me down once again. Clint Moses is back, y'all. My guy Clint Moses is back. All right, well, we got the band back together, man. All the members of the band, Parliament Funkadelic. You guys are all here. I got Wilson starting, enough size to keep it and run. Arm strength is a double-edged sword. Okay, Clint Moses has Isaac Wilson as the starter. Do you keep JuJu Lewis if Isaac Wilson is your starter? All right. There's a digital. I appreciate it. I'm just catching up to the chat, guys. So forgive me if some of your comments here that I'm seeing are a little bit old. Oh, by the way, we got super chat. Super chat. So if you're so inclined to support the show via super chat, you can hit that super chat and support the show. There's a digital. The point I'm making, oh, my Iowa Hawkeye. So you're a Hawkeye fan. Make a bowl game every year, regardless of the record. I promise you, the true CU fans would love to trade places with the Iowa Hawkeyes at 7-5. Dang. All right. In the chat, guys, would you trade places with the Iowa Hawkeyes and consistently being 7-5 and making a bowl game? It's certainly better than 2025, but I get the point that you're making, right? Consistency, a consistent winning culture, but I just know it's slightly different for Colorado. Coach Dre likes what he saw from Sweetwine. He can run it better than Wilson, and he has arm talent. Man, listen, 6'3", 195. He's going to continue to grow into his body, and he's going to master the go-go offense. He's going to be a problem. Now, question. At 7-5, 8-4, 9-3, let me know in the comments, do we keep Brennan Marion? Let's look at this contract real quick because we got to talk contract real quick before we talk about quarterback retention for 2028. Anybody know what Brennan Marion's contract is? Let's look it up. Let's look it up. All right, always AI, always skeptical. I'll double check this, but maybe you guys can double check it with more credible sources here. But it looks like Brennan Marion signed a 2-year deal, $3 million to become the offensive coordinator at Colorado. So max, these quarterbacks in Colorado have Brennan Marion for for right now, they have him for 2 years. They go 7-5, year 1, 8-4, 9-3. They do it again in 2027. Does Coach Prime get to keep Brennan Marion, or is the go-go at Colorado a 2-year experiment? Interesting. Let's talk about it. Feels so real. It's all love. I don't want nothing but the best for you, onwards and upwards. I appreciate you, my brother. You've always been supportive. All right. Young needs to work on his cuts. He just runs straight downhill. He has to work on his game. The other running backs run high. I think everybody's working on their game. What I like though is Johnny Mack has those boys playing like they should. Playing like they should. RMJ Media. Oh my gosh, man. We got the whole crew's here. The whole crew is in here. QB competition is wide open. JuJu is still not processing fast enough. Other defenses going to throw a lot at him. I don't think they could blitz. I didn't really see a lot of blitz, and maybe one or two. Yeah, how is he going to handle the blitz? Is he able to read it quick enough? Is he able to get a read on it pre-snap even to help him with going through his progression quicker? We'll see. He's just he's only started what, 2 games? So it's still early. Whoever the starter is, they got to stick with them. Yeah, we can't have a quarterback carousel again. Will they keep Prime is the bigger question. So, is keeping Prime after 2 years or when his contract is up a bigger question than keeping Marion? I don't know. I think Coach Prime's pretty comfortable where he is, especially if he's winning. Trey 601. I think last year's team, talent-wise, was better. Record-wise, it's hard because they didn't let Salter finish. He could have made them a 6-win team, which could have helped Prime's hot seat get colder. Listen, yeah, 6 wins is definitely better than 3 wins. However, I don't know if it was more about letting him play, because I don't think you just want to let a guy be on the field and play if he's not playing the way that he's being coached or executing the way he should execute. I mean, on any job, you're not just going to let, even if it's like the fry cook, man, if you're burning, 3 out of 10 orders, they're not going to keep you on the fries. That's too much of a loss for the business, right? But that's just me thinking out loud. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. But you got to make a change, I think. Coach Prime generates too much money for the state. They would be foolish to let him leave. Yeah, man. And at the end of the day, he's also in a good situation. I mean, are there better situations out there if he wants to continue coaching? Maybe. But I think he's in a pretty good situation. I think he's very comfortable in Boulder. I think Boulder has embraced him. I think the only thing now for everybody to really have a good time is just for the team to get back to winning and being in the hunt for championships every single year and going to the playoffs. I think if he can do that, he's going to continue to have a great time in Boulder. Boulder is going to continue to welcome him with open arms. He's going to be able to raise the money that he needs to go out and get the players that he needs because, again, this is a business, right? If he wants to bet players, he needs to be able to have the money to pay these players as well. So let's look at Coach Prime's contract, though. Let's see, Coach. All right, so he's locked in for 5 years. His contract goes through 2029. He is the highest paid football coach in the Big 12. He got a 5-year, $54 million. So he's locked in until 2029. Brennan Marion is locked in until 2028. So Prime currently contractually is definitely going to be there longer than Brennan Marion. Question is, what do they do over the next 3 years that makes his job more enjoyable? Primarily, they got to win. They gotta win. See, you can't buy out Prime's contract. Best case scenario is Prime agrees to walk away, then they don't have to pay him. Yeah, I don't see that happening. I do not see that happening. Okay? Especially if they're winning. All right, let's keep the breakdown going. So we talked about the run game. We talked about the O-line. Phil So Real brought up why the trenches are so important. He's always been a believer in the trenches in every conversation. But I think the O-line is looking good throughout the spring, especially in the run game. Now, they did give up some sacks. So pass protection, they're going to need to continue to do that. They gave up sacks in the spring game. And we're going to talk about the pass rush also and some of the things that I've seen and I've talked about in other videos as well. So they were creating big running lanes. I really loved how big those running lanes were. Clean blocks, I don't think they had a lot of penalties. I think towards the end they got a little bit sloppy, but if you could run block and not get called for holding and stuff like that, it's always a good sign. And I think they're physically imposing, right? This is a really, really big line all the way down to the 2 deep, right? So there's not this huge drop off in size. I mean, even down to kind of like the 3 deep, they still look pretty good. Now, they don't have 3 distinct units. I think they have a great rotation that they have with these guys, but size is not going to be an issue right now. Can they play with leverage? Can they move bigger defensive lines that they're going to be facing in the Big 12 around? That still remains to be seen, but this is a good start. These guys just need to continue to stay healthy and gel together as a unit. They are very, very well led by Demetrius Hunter and Sean Kinney at the center spot, which are 2 bright spots, I think, also on this offensive line. I think Javon McFadden is coming along well. Some of you mentioned Yaya Atia. I really like what I'm seeing from Leon Bell. Also like the battle that's going on between Taj White and Larry Johnson. Okay, Jose Soto is playing his role, having come over from Sacramento State at that right guard position. Chauncey Gooden is looking good as well. So we got a good thing going, guys. We just got to keep them healthy, continue to coach them up, and they're going to continue to learn this go-go offense and execute, which I love to see. Pass protection, I mentioned, they're going to need help, especially to the point that somebody else made. Holding on to the ball is not something that you just get rid of, right? So if you have a quarterback that tends to hold on to the ball a little bit long, that pass protection needs to be there as well. Can they put it all together, run blocking and pass? We'll see. We'll see that over the summer when they come back and some of the improvements that I'm hoping that they're going to make. Because if they can put it together with run blocking and pass blocking, this offense is going to be pretty dangerous. Let's see what Venge. Oh, give it up, man. I think ideally Coach Prime has always winning year and then agrees to hand it off to Coach Marion. Man, you see a legacy play here, right? We're winning. We went out on the top. We made it to the playoffs in 2028. I'm going to just do a 1-year contract with Brennan Marion, keep him for 2029. We'll coach together 1 more year, and then he becomes the CU head coach. Man, that's a movie. That's a movie. That would be a movie script. All right, let's talk about the defensive line. One of the areas that I've been concerned about, probably some of you have been concerned about. I did an extensive video and a live stream on the defensive line. But 3 guys that I really liked today, right, and what I saw from them. Toby Anene on the edge, wearing that number 53, looking like Arden Walker, but really out there playing his butt off, getting to the quarterback, getting in the quarterback's throwing lanes, batting the ball down, things like that. I think we got a real defensive end in Toby Anene. Do not be surprised if Toby Anene, a defensive end, at edge rusher, is one of the best players on this defense in 2026. Santana Hopper, loved how he was getting off the line today. I loved how he was getting in the backfield. I had maybe a tough critique about the 1 or 2 plays that I saw in the very edited, well-off media clips, but I thought Santana Hopper played well. I think he's a dangerous guy in the middle, and I love what I saw from him today. And then Sama Kamara, right? Balin Sama Kamara on the opposite edge. That rotation is going to be pretty good. When you got a Emmanuel Ziogu, a Toby Anene, a Vili Tafatafua, a Balansama Kamara, a Kylan Salter, Yamil Talib, who's the other kid from Lamont Lester. That's going to be a pretty tough rotation on the edge, and I love what I'm seeing from those guys as they develop and play together. I think Coach Dre mentioned Samu, Taumano Pepe. I'm trying to get my Polynesian pronunciations down, man, so I can do these players justice. But even guys like Dylan Manuel and Tyler Moore, I think as long as they continue to coach them up and develop them, Coach Carter, namely, has that responsibility. I think they're going to be okay. So I saw tackles for loss, I saw some sacks, I saw some disruption from that front. So even though I'm not 100% sold, I'm more sold than I was going into the spring game that they're going to have a pretty good line up front. Definitely for sure on the edges. I like what I saw from the linebackers as well. Tyler Martinez, you kind of wonder when you're watching well off, dang, what's going on with Leona LaFau? Why is he running with Gage Goldberg in the twos? And then you see Gideon Lampron and Tyler Martinez play, and you're like, oh, Tyler Martinez came to play. He didn't come to sit. And prior to injury in 2025, Tyler Martinez was playing his butt off alongside Ezra Christensen and Nathan Mitchell at New Mexico State. He was making plays today. He almost got an interception as well. So love to see that for Tyler Martinez. Love to see that Gideon Lampron is being Gideon Lampron, what we expected. And so I'm giving Gideon Lampron, I think, is solidified at linebacker. Want to keep him healthy. I think the battle between Tyler Martinez, Leona LaFau still continues, but I give Tyler Martinez the slight edge based on what I saw today. If you guys notice anything from that linebacker room, anything from the freshmen, anything that stood out to you from the linebackers today? Dizza Digital says Coach Prime gave CU a bargain. That contract would make him what, $10 million plus a year? 10.4? What do you think he should have gotten? 12? 13? I mean, they're definitely making their money back. That's not the issue. But what do you think he should have gotten? $10 million a year or more? All right. What else you guys got to say? Hit that super chat, man. Show your boy some love. What has Coach Marion proven for everyone to think he's CU's new head coach? If they have a 4-win season, he's getting fired with Prime's guys that are not. That's not how college football works. That's a fairy tale story. Come on, guys. Hey, listen. We'll see if it's a fairy tale or not. We will see if it is a fairy tale or not. Robert Doggett says 12 to 15 million. Does CU have that kind of money? You're talking Ohio State, Alabama, Georgia money. Let's see. The highest paid football coaches. I just go in the job and be like, give me the most money you got. Here's a stick up. All right, let's see what ChatGPT or AI says. Let's see. All right, there's a screen. Kirby Smart, highest paid college football coach, earning 13.3 million, followed by Ryan Day, Ohio State, 12 million. Kirk Cignetti signed that monster contract, 11.6 million. Now, so you guys got a couple guys here, national championships, right? Let's see where Coach Prime ranks. I think he's in this company right here, the Steve Sarkisian. Texas got that money. Oregon definitely has the money to pay Dan Lanning. Alabama has the money to pay Kalen. LSU, Brian Kelly's not there anymore. What are they paying Lane Kiffin? See, this is the thing about AI you can't trust. So all of this might not even be right. Let's go to CBS Sports. Okay, here we go. Kirby Smart, 13. Ryan Day, 12. Lincoln Riley, 11. Dabo, 11. Steve Sarkisian 10-8. So here's the company that Coach Prime is in. Sarkisian, Lanning, DeBoer. This is even wrong. This is not updated. When was this written? It's from 2025. Let's make this 2026. Are you guys enjoying the content? If you are enjoying the content, go ahead and give me hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Uh-oh. Looks like Lane Kiffin might be the new number one. Let's see. Kirk Cignetti, that will get him paid around 13.2. Man, that's a massive deal. Okay, here we go. Kirk Cignetti, 13.2. Kirby Smart, 13. Lane Kiffin, 13. So you got a big pay raise. Ryan Day, 12. Dabo Sweeney, 11. Dan Lanning got a bump up to 11. Lincoln Riley, 11. And who's this? Mississippi State. Okay. So, I mean, these are the coaches that are ahead of them. You're talking about some big schools that are always in the playoff conversation. That's why these guys are getting the money that they're getting. Okay. So $10 million is not bad company. At least you were in company with Dabo Sweeney and the likes in 2025. All right. So let's see what you guys got in the chat. Let's keep this thing going, man. I got more analysis coming for you. I think I stopped at the linebacker spot. We're going to talk about the secondary, and then we're probably going to wrap this thing up. Appreciate you guys being here. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. Clint Moses, let's see what you got, man. 1,000-yard rusher. Will Prime retire notable alum player numbers? Every game a sellout, viewership rise, or continue to fall? Great questions. Let's pick them apart one at a time. Will we have 1,000-yard rusher? I don't know if we're going to have 1,000-yard rusher. I think we're probably going to have two guys over 700 yards. I think we're going to have two guys over 700 yards. Unless there's one guy who really separates himself from the pack and just goes absolutely bananas. Right? Like really gets the hot hand this season and you just can't help but feed him. But I think we're going to have two guys over 700. Will Prime retire notable alum numbers? I think he will retire the next Heisman. If he has another Heisman before he leaves, that person's getting their number retired immediately. Will he sell out every game? Let's look at the schedule. Let's look at the schedule. Appreciate you guys being so engaged. Great questions there, Clint Moses. Great question. I guess the first question is, did Colorado sell out every game in 2025? Well, according to AI here, it says they sold out all season tickets for the third consecutive year in a row, ensuring capacity crowds of 50,183. Tickets sold out earlier than in previous years, signaling continuing high demand. Yeah, they sold out games like Wyoming, etc. So why not? They did it in 2025. Why not? Will viewership rise or continue to fall? That Georgia Tech game is a Thursday night game. Prime time. That game right there is going to tell the story of the season. It's gonna probably be up there as one of the most watched games of the opening week of college football. It has to be. Yep. Game is going to be Colorado versus Georgia Tech, Thursday, September 3rd in Atlanta, Georgia. Do you know how crazy that game is going to be? That game is going to be bananas. And I think that game is going to set the tone for the rest of the season in terms of viewership. So I think they come out of that game winning in convincing fashion, and the sky's the limit for viewership for the rest of the season. Great question. Ewell says, I think we can win more than 4 games again. I need to see more improvement up front. That's the key to playing with the elite. Yep, you got to have the trenches. Linebackers didn't stand out to me today, but I wasn't looking at them much. Martinez got through once, I do remember. Yeah, I think Martinez had a good day. I respect your work. You're the only CU blogger going live. You're going to notice other bloggers hide every time they write checks they can't cash. Well, I mean, I'm only giving my observation, so I appreciate the compliment. CU had a budget cut last year. Prime did get all his money. He did or he didn't get all his money. Neither did Livingston. Really? They took a pay cut. All right. That's not Coach Prime's responsibility. That's the AD's job to go out and get the money. Yeah, you got to win games to make his job easier, though. The 1-4 games, the 14 game, the 1-4 games will dictate if all the rest sell out. Let's see this. The 1-4 game, Evans, let me know what you mean. Oh, the first 4 game. Okay, got you. I see it. The first 4 games will dictate if the rest of the season's games sell out. Well, you know they're going to sell out on season tickets. It's just all the other like student tickets and all of that other stuff. So let's see the schedule. Are y'all enjoying the content? Please like, share, subscribe, drop a super chat. I would appreciate that. All right, let's see. Am I sharing my screen? No. All right, let's go. Here's the schedule. Georgia Tech on the road. That's going to be a sellout. Opening day, I know it's Weber State, but I think they're going to sell that out. Northwestern on the road, that's a Big Ten game. You know that's probably going to sell out. They're going to be at Baylor. Man, look at this schedule. The first 4 games are on the road. I'm sorry, the first 3 out of 4 games are on the road. That's crazy. Okay. Big facts up in here, man. Big facts. He says, let's go ahead and put it up here. No 1K wide receiver, too many weapons, but more or Perry 700 plus, Danny and JoJo 500, Farrakhan and Gibson 250, 300. Man, I can't even say. That means that Moore is going to be at 100% and he's going to catch and be better than Danny Scudero. Wow. I got Danny Scudero as wide receiver 1, man. You see, if Danny Scudero was 6'2", 205 pounds, and he's transferring and he was the leading wide receivers in yards in college football in 2025, you wouldn't be saying this big facts. I think you're only saying it because he's like 5'9". He is the leading wide receiver in college football in yards. How many yards did Danny Scudero have last year? You know, we got to talk facts on this channel. We got to talk facts. We got to talk big facts. $88 receptions, tied for 5th in the country. 1,297 yards, first in the country. 10 touchdowns, tied for 12th in the country. 14-yard average, 109th in the country. This guy is going to be wide receiver 3 in yards. Make it make sense, big facts. Break it down for me, man. Big facts got us at 9-3, 10-2. Man, big facts always going to come with the facts, though. Starting 4-0 for sure. You know what? Let me go ahead and open the schedule here, and then we can just go back and forth with some of these Colorado player stats. All right. So big facts got us. We're gonna get 3 road wins. TLP Sports Club. Harry Billions in the building, man. Hold on, man. The man who helped me get my start on YouTube, man. I gotta pay homage to Harry B, man. Thank you for tuning in, man. You the mentor, man. I appreciate the emails that you send me as well, giving me encouragement. I appreciate you. TLP Sport, oh, busy, you can't stay. All right, appreciate that. Appreciate you, Clint Moses. Thank you so much for joining me. Big facts. No, did you see more at Texas? Hang on, man. Hang on, let's just put the stats. Because you know I did a DeAndre Moore stats 2025. You know I did a whole reaction to DeAndre Moore, right? It's on the channel. I saw. Put that right here. Now I know it's not fair because he was in a room that was loaded. He wasn't wide receiver 1. You know, it was the Manning's kid, first year starting at quarterback. He's got off to a rough start. But what I'm saying is, what you said was, you said this. I don't think Danny transferred to Colorado to go from this and 88 receptions to 500 yards, man. I don't know if we're doing that. I got him at wide receiver 3. What? Oh yeah, Perry's definitely a home run hitter now. Moore is a gadget, explosive talent is high. Yeah, that's what he's gonna play. He reminds me of, what's the guy who just got the big contract from Seattle? Jackson Smith-Njigba. DeAndre Moore gives me Jackson Smith-Njigba vibes. I might be wrong there. Yeah, TLP Sports Club said, I'm fancy using big fat. Yeah, hey, listen, it's all here available on the internet, right? I don't even have to give my opinion. No stats highlighted. Oh, wait, what do you mean? Like, you can see my screen, can't you? DeAndre Moore, 38 catches, 532 yards, 4 touchdowns. Danny Scudero, 88 catches, 1,297 yards, and 10 touchdowns. And they played each other. They played Texas here. Obviously, they're going to lose to Texas. 7 catches, 60 yards. Let's look at some of his biggest game. Hawaii, he went off, 215 yards. New Mexico, 151. Wyoming, 180. You know we played Wyoming. Nobody on Colorado put up 180. Central Michigan, 189. He's going off. Wyoming, 4 touchdowns. Nobody on our team put up 4 touchdowns against Wyoming. TLP Sports Club say he's just fine. I appreciate you. More like Jax or George Pickens. All right. I like that. Okay. So this is what I'm talking about, guys. When you look at the statistics, I know, depending on where players come from, they get a lot of shine and stuff like that. And I'm not saying that's what you're doing, Big Facts, but I don't think Danny Scudero came here to lose 700 yards. That would be crazy. That would be crazy. All right, let's go quickly now to started with the conversation about selling out tickets. Now we're talking about overall record. We got 3 out of 4 road games to start the season. We're going to be going into some pretty harsh territory. You know this is going to be crazy. You know this is a Big Ten team. You know they're always going to be physical. They're always going to be coming to compete. And then you got Baylor, where we're going to see, what's the kid's name? Miller. Yeah, we're going to see Miller. We're going to see how they're going to use him at Baylor. Oh, Chip Kelly is over at Northwestern now. Okay, so that should be interesting. That should be interesting. All right, then we got Texas Tech. Then we got Utah. Guys, look at the schedule, man. This is a gauntlet. You're on the road at Georgia Tech. You're on the road at Northwestern. You're on the road at Baylor. Then you have your homecoming against Texas Tech, who is going to be loaded. Then you go to Utah. You got to rebuild Oklahoma State. The coach came over from North Texas, brought his guys, right, at Oklahoma State. Then you go, you bring Kansas State back to Folsom, and then you're at Arizona State, where we're going to see Omarion Miller. Then you bring Houston back. You got to get your lick back on Houston because of what they did to you when you were on the road in Houston. Then you go on the road at Cincinnati, and then UCF is going to be at Folsom Field. Do not sleep on UCF. Scott Frost has rebuilt that team as well. So this is a gauntlet, guys. This is a gauntlet. Okay? Oklahoma State is North Texas. They took their coach. Yeah, I know. North Texas is a 9+ win season last year. Yeah. Houston has a freshman QB. Oh, I didn't know that. We're going to be scouting all these games as the season gets closer. But I'm just saying, just on paper, man, this is a tough season. Tough season. All right, let me go ahead and finish up my reaction to the spring game. Oh, but the Houston QB is a 5-star. Yeah, listen, growing pains are growing pains, right? Whether you're 5-star or not. It's still tough stepping up a level. So let's talk about the secondary. I thought the secondary played well, and they competed. I really like to see the safeties. I think we had a pretty good safety room with Jaja Boyd, Nathan Mitchell, and Randon Fontenette. I love them in run support today. Super active, super physical. They were around the ball. I thought the corners made it tough on the wide receivers, but of course, you're not going to be able to contest every single catch. So I felt okay about the corners. But what I loved is Mojo Williams with the interception. I don't know if you guys remember the game against UCF in 2024 and that interception where Travis Hunter baited the quarterback into throwing the ball, and then he made the diving interception. That gave me Travis Hunter 2024 vibes on that interception from Mojo Williams today. And then shout out to Makari Vickers. He had his struggles last year, but I thought he looked pretty good in run support. He was not good in tackling in the open field in 2025. He looked pretty good in open field tackling today. Just our tackling overall looked better, guys. What do you think? Because we were atrocious at tackling in 2025. So I saw some growth there. Cree looked good. RJ Johnson looked good. But of course, the standard is pretty high if you're playing the secondary for Coach Prom. I think the only guy got beat was they found a mismatch with Danny Scudero on Braylon Edwards. But I think he was supposed to be safety help over the top. I think corner guy didn't read the play properly or whatever. So that was the big play that I saw. Cree Thomas is cornerback 1. Cornerback 2 is wide open. Yeah, those guys are competing, man. They're competing. Mojo Williams, Vickers, RJ, all the same. Mojo Williams is good, though. Can you imagine Mojo Williams if he stays with Coach Prime for 3 years? All-American. All-American. I'm calling it right now. Braylon Edwards, if he stays Colorado playing the way he plays 3 years, All-American. All-American. Eaglin not doing what I thought he would. I think he's new to press man coverage, so he's struggling a little bit. So hopefully he gets it. He gets better. So what's the big picture, right? What's the big picture? What are my big takeaways that I've talked about so far? QB1 is emerging. JuJu Lewis is in the lead. Wide receiver 1 for me is confirmed. I think that's Danny Scudero. The run game is legit. I love that Damien Henderson is stepping up to the next level and he's getting the shine that he deserves. The O-line is good and improving. Want to see better in pass protection. And the defense looked good in spots. I think they're going to continue to improve. Remember, Coach Marv just took over this defense. This is Robert Livingston's defense. He was the one who recruited it. Coach Marv is now slowly implementing his defense. And you got to start small, make sure guys master the basics, and then build from there. All right, so if you haven't already, drop your biggest takeaway in the chat and who was your MVP of the spring game. Let me know who your MVP of the spring game. Oh, one thing I didn't mention. I love our kicking game. I love our special teams and our kicking game. I think we got 2 legit kickers. Love Elliot Arnold having the confidence of the coaches to kick from 50 yards or more. He had a lot of leg. He did miss the 50-yarder. But guys, we don't need to get in the red zone anymore to score. We could score from outside the red zone. That kicking game is going to win us some games this season. Elliot Arnold, black kicker. I love what I saw from those guys. Mr. Trouble Boy. Man, is this your first time in the chat? Welcome. Appreciate you. He says Boo Carter is his MVP. All right. Love to see it. Love to see it. Do I have an MVP from today? Who did I? I don't know. It's kind of tough, man. It's kind of tough. Oh, another thing I didn't mention, guys. Another thing I didn't mention. The use of the tight ends in the pass game. Did you guys see that? Now, does anybody have an update on Zach Atkins? Is he hurt? He went down. He went down. He went down. Is anybody know if Zach Atkins is good? But I love the use of the tight ends in the pass game. I thought that was something that was lacking in 2025. I saw that Zach Atkins was targeted multiple times. Corbin Leisure almost had a great catch in the back of the end zone, went up and got it, but I think he bobbled it when he went to the ground, so it wasn't a touchdown. I think D'Souza got targeted as well. So that tight end room under Coach Niblett is looking pretty good, and Brennan Marion looks like he intends to use them in the pass game as well. Great punt from the backup punter today also. Yeah, the kicking game is looking good, guys. You cannot take for granted special teams and the kicking game in football. I like that we can score points from outside of the 30. And we could call that confidently go into halftime, even if we don't go, 2-minute drill, you can't convert, you can't get to a touchdown. You can kick it from a 40-yarder, a 45-yarder, 50-yarder and go into halftime. I love to see that. Okay. Coach Niblett said on the pregame show that Atkins was good, and it was a TD. It was a TD. Oh, I thought he bobbled it. So they called it a touchdown, or they got the call wrong? Evenge, let me know. My MVP was Isaac Wilson. Even though he threw a pick, he showed that he's not scared to take a chance. And that back of the end zone was up to Prime to make the decision and stick with it. Okay. Well, it was a great catch to me, but I was watching it on my mobile phone, so I couldn't really zoom in and kind of look at whether or not he bobbled it. But great catch by Corbin Leisure. Right now, my 3 tight ends are Zach Atkins, Fisher Clements, and Corbin Leisure. They called it incomplete, but that football did not move. Yeah, I saw that. That was a great catch. All right, guys. So I appreciate all of you hanging in there with me, man. Do you guys enjoy the live session? Do you think it's providing you some value, some entertainment as well? That's what we're here to do. The best way you can show us some love is by hitting that like, hitting that subscribe, joining us like you have on these live sessions, supporting the show, becoming a member, and doing the super chats. All right. So I appreciate you guys. We're on our road to 1,000 subscribers. We're going to keep bringing this content to you. Tune in for the film study on Tuesday, roster analysis on Thursday, and of course the live stream on Saturday. So I pray that the Almighty is blessing you, keeping you in good health, and that everything that you touch prospers. And if you're going through a hard time right now, remember, hard times don't last forever. Until next time.